The Council Bluffs Community School District Education Service Center. This is a public hearing. The Council Bluffs Community School District will hold a public hearing on the proposed property tax levy. I am opening the Council Bluffs Board of Directors public hearing on the proposed property tax levy. Let the record show that all board members are present for this hearing. Please.
No,
Ms. Leanne, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Murillo, and good evening, Board of Directors.
Good evening.
Today, we are here to hold a public hearing for our fiscal year 25 budget. The Iowa Legislature passed the House File 718 during the 23 legislative session, which changed many parts of the property taxation system. One of the more prominent changes is an annual statement that many of you would have received. This statement provided information aimed at educating taxpayers on the school, city, and county budgets. The statement has 3 sections, one of which shows the current property tax rate we're in now and the proposed property tax rate for next year. Our proposed tax rate, as you can see, shows us decreasing from 16.16 per thousand this year to 15.98 per thousand next year. Here's a chart showing our rates from 2014. You will see we have had a steady decline since 2019. We strive to be good stewards of your public dollars. Fiscal year 25 will make it 6 years that we've had a declining property tax rate. The district's notice of public hearing is detailed by each fund. The notice contains the amount we cannot exceed when we finalize our budget at the end of this month. With the governor's signing of House File 2612, the supplemental state aid is now set at 2.5%. Original discussion mentioned possibly being 3%, so that is what we use to budget. Therefore, rates and dollars by the district using the 2.5% rate will be decreasing. This slide illustrates some of our use of our tax dollars. Property tax dollars supplement our state, federal, and local sources of revenue, which enables us to provide students with the needed resources and excellent educational opportunities that we give them. As a reminder, our final budget will be approved at our April 23rd meeting. It needs to be certified at the courthouse on April 30th. Thank you.
Okay, for those of you in attendance, thank you for being here today. We do value your input, and if you're interested in coming up and sharing your comments, please do so. As a reminder, each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes, since I don't have anybody that came in with a pre-request. And please remember the board members are present to listen and receive these comments, and will not engage in dialogue or respond to questions during this meeting. So we're ready to proceed. If you want to come on up, please state your name and address and go ahead.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm a little shorter than that. My name is Sandy Tomford. I live at 2004 South 10th Street in Council Bluffs. I have lived there almost 41 years, across the street from Longfellow School. I am appreciative that you're lowering it, but we've also been informed that you're going to increase it at within the next 36 months because of maintenance, and you call for cybersecurity, but yet the kids aren't using them Chromebooks no more. As far as employee salary and maintenance of the buildings, like I had spoke with Diane just a little bit ago, some of the things that you're being confronted with can be dealt with by you guys. I don't know who runs the part down there on 9th Avenue, but you need to talk to some of your workers that come out of there. I've been out shoveling my driveway and watched your city, well, it's not city, it's a Council Bluffs school truck with a plow on it come down. He kind of yields at the stop sign on 20th, slows down, gains speed, swings in from the street to the bus lane in front of my house, and hits it doing about 30. You want to know where some of your cost is coming from? I've watched him tear out chunks where the road goes like this and then the bus lane, because he doesn't lift the plow, he just starts in. He tears up all that blacktop in between where the street and the bus lane is. And he doesn't even bother out to get out of your driveway, and they won't give you a gap. But he goes flying down there. There was a chunk, half of the PVC pipe, along with the metal. It was about that wide, that I took into the secretary to Longfellow and asked her to give it to the principal. She was gonna throw it away. She turned around, I says, please don't throw that in the trash. I said, that needs to be showed to the principal and to the school board so they can address the issue. Second of all, is they put these little 2 foot by 1 foot concrete pads with the little vents where the big brass tubes come out. Got news for you, I got video. When it's rained hard enough, it don't hit that little concrete thing with the drain. It shoots about 4 foot out. So they're paying for grass every year because it literally eats away the yard and the grass and everything. Now in the back corner on 20th, at the end of the gym, your guy with the snow blower, 2 times I've watched him do things. One, he tore out 2 deals of the new block on the new addition by running into it. Then there is a big gouge in the granite, and mind you, my family's been down there. My house is 158 years old. The thing is I have great grandkids and grandkids in that school now. Have them slow down, take care of what they're supposed to be taking care of, and you probably wouldn't have half the issues, and you wouldn't have so much damage. Because my husband did his apprenticeship as an electrician through Council Bluffs Public Schools. So he used to go in and change plug-ins for him after he got off work free out of our garage. But it's just, if they'd slow down, pay attention to what they're doing, you wouldn't have so much cost as far as maintenance.
Who would like to speak? Please. Come up, state your name and your address.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Diane McMakin, 626 Ridge Road North, Council Bluffs, Iowa, here. And I know that I represent hundreds of us tax-paying citizens who want to do the right thing, but yet there's reality checks here. I know they commented that the taxes keep going down, but reality is when every year when I go in and pay, I know we did the remodeling of TJ, the high schools and the junior highs, and there was that bond issue that got voted on there, so that was this. So that's basically what I would like to say is private businesses, private households, citizens, we all adjust our budget. I believe the government and any government entities also likewise, I need to readjust the budget. When times are tough, what else do you do? You know, we're not the federal government that can go in there and just start printing money. You know, it's illegal for us to do that, right? So that is my point, and I know I represent hundreds of people, you know, talking out with neighbors, et cetera, that we all have to budget, and I would just ask our government, whatever level it is, to think about that, and if you have to cut budgets, you have to. We all are affected by this. Thank you very much for your time.
To hers, some of it.
No, we can't have any debate or argument in the meeting.
Present. Mr. Tripp.
Here, and if you would all rise and share a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I move that the board approves the minutes from the workshop business meeting of March 19th, 2024 be approved as presented.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing as there is none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And the minutes are approved.
cb-schools.org under Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Anybody else wish to speak tonight? All right, moving on. Dr. Murillo.
Thank you, Mr. Tripp. At this time, I'm going to begin our first superintendent report. I'd like to invite Ms. Comine to the podium. Tonight, we will be presenting our district career and academic plan. I think you'll find really good progress has been made in this area for our district and great opportunities for our students to achieve and have experiences that will prepare them to be future ready. So Ms. Comine, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Murillo. With me tonight is Kathy Schmedding. She is the coordinator of college and career readiness, and she is going to provide a presentation on our district career and academic plan. Really excited for you to hear this information. Much of it will you'll be able to make a connection with, because our North Star is our Diploma Plus One. But what I'm really excited tonight is you're also going to learn about some of the district and school daily happenings that occur that makes this work come to life. So at this time, I'd like to invite Kathy Schmedding to the podium.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Get myself set up here. Okay. And thank you, Ms. Comine. Good evening again. My name is Kathy Schmedding. I'm the coordinator of college and career readiness for the district, and it's my honor to share with you tonight the work surrounding our district career and academic plan. Our career and academic plan is connected to Goal 2, guaranteeing that each student is future ready with the completion of a high school diploma and a second credential. Tonight, you will hear more about our secondary programs that support Goal 2 and some of the work that really brings Diploma Plus One to life. Our purpose for tonight's presentation is to provide context surrounding the district career and academic plan, otherwise referred to as DCAP, share the importance and benefits to career and academic planning, review our DCAP goals and recent evaluation, and then lastly, provide key integration and implementation that's happening at the secondary level. To provide some context, the Career and Academic Plan is a product of House File 2392. That is the act that focused on the redesign of student career and academic planning. This law has 3 specific targets: developing a system of best practices that focus on student experience and developing of post-secondary success, a holistic and integrated approach to comprehensive career guidance, and for school districts to annually review their plan with all stakeholders, which brings me here tonight. The District Career and Academic Plan, or the DCAP, is just that. It is our plan. It's the district framework of events and experiences that promote career and academic planning. Individual career and academic plans, or we refer to them as ICAPs, that is the work. It is each student's comprehensive collection of exploration, which drives the necessary planning to make the best informed decisions. Each plan consists of 5 essential elements. The first element being self-understanding. It is ensuring that each student understands more about themselves, such as learning styles, personality, interest inventories, and this is the first step in a student connecting themselves and their characteristics to career interests and post-secondary exploration, or the building blocks to career and academic planning, and allow our D+1 components to really come to life. Our students are provided exploration, experience, and education to see the light at the end of their career tunnel. And infused within our ICAP is the student's choice to complete and reflect on work-based learning opportunities, many of them that you heard at our presentation about work-based learning in January, virtually at our presentation. All students also receive financial aid advisement to support financial literacy through post-secondary decision-making, activities such as financial aid lessons, FAFSA completion nights. The importance and the benefits of DCAP are broken into 4 components, with students starting at the center of our work. Starting as early as middle school, students develop their academic plan. They are developing the building blocks towards their post-secondary and career goals. Second being schools, where teachers and support staff see their pivotal role in a student's post-secondary success. Our community plays an integral role in developing the leaders of the future, from our business advisory input to participation in district activities. Our students seeing the faces of the workforce today builds the leaders of tomorrow. And lastly, everyone. When a school's culture and environment comes alive and is relevant and intentional about preparing students for the future. All of this work aligns with our district strategic goal and provides the roadmap to how each student earns a high school diploma and their second credential. In 22-23, we established 4 main goals. Goal number 1 being district diploma +1 completion and increased work-based learning opportunities. And as you know, our class of 2023 had an 81% completion of diploma +1 and has also been recorded 236 work-based learning diploma +1 pathways for 23-24. With Dr. Murillo's leveled up plan, academic planning team has evaluated its recent assessment protocols and are updating the evaluation process again for the 24-25 school year. And although we've been made aware of this finalization, the changes will not be in effect until after our plan is submitted for the 23-24 school year. So our goals for 23-24. Our goals are building on the great work that we did in 22-23. Goal 1 remains around our North Star of diploma +1 completion, with a targeted goal of 85% of the class of 2024 with increased work-based learning opportunities. And as Ms. Comine shared with you, in January we had a total of 207 total student experiences. And as of last week, I'm happy to report we've had over 500 student experiences to date. And this does not include our summer intern program, which is also growing to include HVAC, plumbing, elementary education, along with our already established early childhood education and IT summer intern program. Goal 2 was the implementation of our revised Business Advisory Council. And this year's meeting, we have over doubled our participation in our Business Advisory Program. With the new alignment to D+1, we've seen a record high participation of 77% from our Business Advisory Council members. As we increased our one-on-one academic planning for last year, this year we brought our career and technical education teachers into the fold. So all of our career and technical education teachers created goals in their content area to provide more awareness of +1 pathways and also promote that individual student planning component. And we had the implementation of our new diploma +1 pathways. As you know, classes in aviation science, biomedical sciences, enhancing our emerging technology, and our STEM concentrator. Again, our goals all align with our district strategic goals to ensure every student graduates with a second credential, and we look forward to our results at the end of the school year. To continue the side lessons are activities covering all essential components that are grade specific and developmentally appropriate for any student along the planning continuum. We are also excited to report that our middle level lessons will be infused in our college and career readiness labs starting next school year. Our individual and student planning is where our students create and annually review their 4-year plan with their school counselors. During those one-on-one meeting times, students and counselors discuss their goals and then develop the concrete plan towards making their dreams become a reality. Our career and technical education curriculum, as many of our CTE education programs are the conduit to our +1 pathways, these courses establish the valuable connection between content-specific learning and the post-secondary journeys to your career. Also, many of the meaningful work-based learning opportunities, our next steps would be submission of our DCAP plan to our Green Hills AEA at the end of the month. And lastly, evaluation of our plan, which will be conducted in conjunction with the Department of Education and our regional planning partners, and where we'll have the opportunity to review and revise for the 24-25 school year.
Kind of a question for the public, because I tend to hear this a lot, especially as we've talked about, introducing Diploma +1 in the middle school, with pathways, is that the students, this isn't a situation where they might just, are interested in, HVAC, for example, and they, start learning more about this in middle school and they're locked into it forever, right? Like we have transition, entrance and exit lanes for them,
Right.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah, the highways and byways. And
Yeah.
that's the great component is that kids have the opportunity to explore and try multiple different things with supporting staff, helping them guide, and the reflection of that piece of what did you like, what did you not like, what else would we like to try.
That's fantastic.
Going through their school and determining what needs to be worked on, and then making the rules or making the policies within that school that they think are safe and necessary. As I said before, we started in the spring of 2022. In February, we finished our training with our Safe and Civil Schools representative. We spent a few days spent a few days the last couple years with the representative coming in and working with our foundations teams here at ESC, at TJ, and then at Summer Academy. So this isn't just one piece. This is one piece of the three-legged stool. Some of you who have been around a while have seen this. So on the top, we want to ensure positive school environment. We do this through having a strong SEL curriculum. We've talked about that before. In our elementary schools, that's Move This World. In our secondary schools, that's Habitudes. We have classroom and school-wide behavior expectations. That's Foundations, which I'm talking about tonight, and CHAMPS at the elementary level, and Discipline in secondary schools, DSC, discipline in secondary schools at our secondary level. We also are still a trauma-informed school district. Each year with our new staff, they go through trauma training just like we did a few years ago when we started this process. We used the data for each school shows what they need to work on. They develop their own policies and rules, like I said, and see if they work, knowing that there's a revision process. That's why at the bottom you see that sometimes we adopt and we go back to revise, because it's not always going to work the first time. Then we fully implement, and then once we know principals are going to move. This works because it's school-driven, and they have all of the data readily available in the files for if someone new comes in, they can go right through there and see the work that's been done. We then do common area observations. Schools choose what areas they want us to work on. Most schools within our district started with either classrooms or lunchrooms or hallways. Most schools at this point in time have done lunchroom, hallways, bathrooms, and then dismissals. So we go and actually evaluate, being an outsider at the school, to determine if what they implemented is truly working and if it's safe for kids. The last piece, and this is my most favorite piece when I do this, I went to half of the schools this year. Kate Bays, who couldn't be here tonight, went to the other half of schools. She's really led the work, is the staff and student interviews. Do the staff and students know what the expectations are? Are we rewarding the good behavior? And then we always ask the most favorite question, if you had a magic wand, what could you change? And kids are great because they want more recess, they want better lunch, all those things that behavior referrals is anytime extra assistance or an extra adult is needed in the classroom, that's considered a behavior. Each school has an end of the year transition plan. Those foundation teams within the building should change. A couple members should drop off and a couple members should step on. Again, the two each year, next school year, at each building. With that, I would welcome any questions.
Awfully quiet tonight. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
I agree that, based on the data and just things that I've seen, that this works, and it's doing wonders for both the kids and the staff, so.
I agree. Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Hamilton.
And for our final presentation this evening, it will be our informational presentation. Ms. Ostrowski will join me at the podium. She's going to bring a legislative update for the board.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Dr. Murillo and members of the board. And I know that you are engaged on a regular basis with checking the status of bills and advocating for important issues related to our schools and communities. So thank you for that. This evening, I'm just going to hit on a few of the priority areas and where some of the bills that to establish our budget at this time. Timely would have been having this information much sooner. To the work, the reason being that it would have a tremendous impact on the budget. And then we did not have any success in the open enrollment deadline being reestablished so that we could know more concretely when students were planning to attend our schools from another district or vice versa. That year, then 10% of those funds would be directed toward local stressing that. And we're pleased that the state has committed to a minimum starting teacher pay of $47,500. And then they've also taken care of those on a little bit more veteran level by making the 12-plus year experienced teachers a minimum of $60,000. This phases in the pay increase over 2 years with a total allocation of $96 million for the, not next year, but the year after. And I believe we're getting information on the allocation that we'll receive as a district so that we can incorporate that into our contracts for our teachers. And then we're still awaiting funding allocation guidance and details related to minimum salaries for paraprofessionals or educational support staff. And so I know that Mr. Milborn and his team with Dr. Murillo are looking at, how will we distribute those once they're available to us. So that's a piece of good news, I think, and shows the importance that our state places on our educators and those who directly impact students in the classroom. We are approaching the final official day of the session. Now, who knows whether it will continue after April 6th.
With those consultants coming in to do the walkthroughs for math and for ELA, we've been bearing the burden of that. That will take care of that. And then for our technology, we've also been carrying and paying for that ourselves, predominantly out of Pebble and some of the other funds. We'll be able now to move some of our laptops and things like that into that area.
I had a quick question. I was going through the summary actually from this past week. You were mentioning for paras that we're still waiting on funding as far as for pay, but I know one part of it, at least for 2612, it had to do with education support personnel hourly pay. It was supposed to be set at like a $15 minimum wage, but I heard as of this week it got completely removed. Is that part of the funding that we're waiting on?
Yes, we're waiting for more clarification on what that looks like and the identification of who those people, what he was stating was that in the language, some districts may elect to take their ed service and their tech dollars and use them as they wish instead of for those services. And so I know that we've been paying for those services ourselves because the flow-through dollars have gone without us using those services. We plan to use them for those services as is instead of just adding it to our general fund. And so that's kind of the piece in the language that he was looking to make sure they were earmarked. Now, when the House first pushed this bill through, they were doing a 40-60 split where the districts received 40 and the AEAs received 60. The Senate changed that language, but they did not include in that language that those dollars had to be earmarked and used for those purposes, whether we elected to work with the AEAs or not. And so that's the language that he was proposing, that he try to reopen that. I'm not sure where that is. I've watched, because that came out on Friday, last Friday. I watched to see if anything happened yesterday and today, and at this point, no. I can tell you there was another article, though, that our governor stated she would not be in favor of, reopening and doing that again. So I don't know where the votes will lie and what will happen with that, and I have not seen the language, a full scale of the language that would like to be reintroduced.
I guess I just have one last kind of comment, not as much of a question, but I mean, it's just these sorts of updates it's important to remember, especially as an election year, that elections have consequences. It sounds like there's a lot of bipartisan support for our mission for preschool, for fully funding preschool. So this is something that needs to keep, even though our legislative session's almost done, needs to keep being brought up to, any new candidates that are running for office.
If the, I went back to see when the state funded kindergarten full as a.
Okay. Does the board have anything else they would like to discuss that is part of this agenda? Nope. All right. Meeting adjourned.
You have one sign, I'm not sure I have read.